Yeah, so we want to talk about Victory Road 2011.
Well,
just continuing our TNA rant of the evening. So we just checked out some of the lowlights of TNA Victory Road. Now, we actually, and this
Thanks
is something...
to our good friends at Botchamania.
Yes,
Thank you for that, by the way.
Fantastic video by Botchamania. Matthew, what's his name?
I forget.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But, like I was saying, like I was said before to start our last video, is that I had all these great things I wanted to talk about, which we talked about in our last video, which was, how TNA is sometimes great and could be great and should be great and
has the elements to be great.
So I had these ideas for things I wanted to say. And then Victory Road happened. And
let me put into perspective what Victory Road was for me, because it was honestly a running joke for me at first that there was even a pay-per-view being held, because nobody was talking about Victory Road.
Well, they didn't even book the card until the night before.
But guess what? Everyone was talking about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And for me, I honestly didn't care what happened at the pay-per-view, but I actually went out of my way to look up the results. And I don't always do that for TNA pay-per-views because not a whole lot usually changes. Yeah. And I don't follow TNA that closely on a day-to-day basis. I always keep up with who's the champ, who are the feuds, but, I'm not constantly seeking out results from each Impact and whatnot. Yeah. But sometimes actually, on a whim, I went ahead the day after that pay-per-view and said, hey, what happened to Victory Road? And my jaw friggin' hit the desk. I was like, wow, okay, the finger poke of doom and the Hogan-Russo on-air feud, all came flooding back. Suddenly, horrible television events in wrestling history were brought back to the forefront of the wrestling business by what is Victory Road 2011.
I mean,
reading those results.
This is... Excuse me for 1 second. TNA fans, if this isn't enough to make you stop and make you see what you are supporting, I don't know what else to do.
You can't be helped.
I mean, if you do not look, people who bought this pay-per-view, if you're not pissed off, and I know a lot of you are, because I've read you on the internet.
You're not hard to find either.
But there are also a lot of people, mostly Jeff Hardy fans, who are talking who just don't seem to get it. And seriously, can we just, if we run this down, and how can you continue? You can't. This has got to be it. This has to be it, because what else? How low can you go? As in the song parlance, shall we? I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, no, it fits.
How far down the drain can you sink before people stop giving you their fucking money?
It furthers my belief that TNA followers are cult followers, because cult followers will follow their cult into the ground, and they will drink the Kool-Aid.
Some of them will, and some of them will look at the Kool-Aid and be like, fuck have I been doing? I mean...
Have you always noticed, too, that when it's bad Kool-Aid, it's grape-flavored Kool-Aid? Always noticed, grape Kool-Aid is always the Kool-Aid that is poisonous and winds up leading to your death. I just thought that was always fascinating to me.
Fair enough. I just wanted to run down a couple of things on this card here.
Go!
So we had Bully Ray. Bully Ray wrestled Tommy Dreamer.
I'm not Brother Ray or Bubba Ray, I'm Bully Ray.
Yeah. Bully Ray, which
I wear a mean-looking jacket now.
I can only assume that Dixie Carter's 6-month-old child came up with that name. I don't know if she's got a 6-month-old child, but
he looked like a bully, mommy.
So he had a match with Tommy Dreamer that
you're pretty down on Dreamer
Devon anyway. And Devon's children and a whole lot of other wacky crap that didn't make any sense. We had Hernandez and Matt Morgan, seemingly for the 50 millionth time,
and
wrestle a match.
They actually accomplished what I believe is a wrestling history first.
What is that?
Fake blood winning a first blood match.
Fake blood on the chest, no less.
Because his pecs ripped open. he had veins bursting on his chest. And the ref, who said, "Hey, Hernandez, I don't really see your forehead bleeding, nor was I watching the monitor 30 seconds before I came out."
When they showed the camera right in your face while you were doing the blade job.
I didn't see that, but I did see that ketchup splatter all over Matt Morgan's chest.
Yeah.
I'm not going to check it for taste. I'm just going to ring the bell.
Yeah.
That's clearly blood. Your nipples are bleeding.
And the crowd was like, what? Really?
Matt Morgan was like, what? When he gets me, he's like, huh? And I think that's how everybody felt afterwards. Was, huh? How much did I pay for this again? Like, there really better be like 6 title matches after this.
Yeah. Then we had the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match.
That's a shame, too, because I actually like, what's her name? No, it's Sarita.
Well, yeah. Although you gotta love the fact that she's now been put in a tag team with Rosita.
It's like 4'0".
Yeah. Something hot and spicy. We need a Latina tag team. Because if there's one thing TNA has showed us over the years, it's they love diversity.
And that's brilliant.
And they're not at all racist. Because there's no racism in wrestling anymore.
That brilliant intro they had, which was a ripoff of what Sarita and Taylor Wilde used to do, only they botched it somehow.
I don't even know. Is that Rosita chick the Rosa Mendes girl from WWE?
No, she actually still works for WWE.
Oh, does she?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So is WWE.
I'm sorry for people who watch. Although if she wants to keep jump roping, that's okay with me.
I just gotta keep losing weight.
Anyway, there was a bunch of just a bunch of botched spots. I mean, the Botchamania guy did a whole show on Victory Road. That should tell you something.
You reduced your women's division to all of the women who needed everyone else's help to look good. Basically, you took out Kong, Kim, ODB, Roxy. Anybody who actually had wrestling talent is gone from the division. So you've got nothing but good-looking chicks who just botch everything now.
Well, you bought that Knockouts DVD, and it's like, look at all the great talent we have.
Let me just say I bought that for like $1.50. Okay,
no,
I didn't pay full price. I didn't pay sale price. I paid like $1.50.
It was like 75% off of $5. It was literally.
So I was like, oh, this is worth it. There'll be some women's matches on it.
Yeah, no, and it's like, hey, we have all these great women. We've got Taylor Wilde and Awesome Kong and ODB. Roxy and ODB. All these people.
Last time I checked, they don't work there no more. Yeah. So your women's division's reduced to a bunch of women who are not capable of carrying on an 8-minute match like they used to be.
That used to be the best part about TNA. For a while, it was it was fantastic. It was like, man, I remember. Didn't we order a show just for the women's match?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So, there's that, which is just utter crap and blah. And
then the double count out in the number one contenders.
The double count out.
DQ. Was it double DQ or double count out? Does it really matter? Both guys technically lost the match, and the number one contenders match wound up being, no number one contender determined. And all they could do was say, tune into Impact and you'll find out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and incidentally, if you read the Impact results, which went up shortly after that,
right.
Their solution to that problem was that both the contenders should get the world title match.
So they both lost, and therefore they both qualified to get a title match.
And I'm just really happy that this wasn't done before, like, really, really recently. Like, the exact same thing, leading up to some show in October that I forget the name of it, I mean, come on, man. It hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been 6 months since you did that. It's like, seriously?
Does it involve the same wrestlers, too?
Anderson. And
he's really good at getting title shots by losing matches.
Yeah.
You got to respect that. I mean, the guy doesn't have to win, and he still gets main event shots. But yeah, so, and not to jump ahead, because we're going to talk about the main event, but because of the way the main event ended, and began, for that matter, with the number one contenders match, you essentially have no contenders now for the title, and then you just decide to just plot jump and just throw everybody in it again.
Let's talk about the main event.
Who was in the main event, by the way? I was looking for it on the show. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, the main event. It was at the end of the show.
I went to the kitchen because I was like, oh, I have some time. I came back and they were showing the credits. I wasn't sure what happened.
Well, sir,
popcorn only takes 3 minutes to pop.
The main event lasted a total of 1 minute and 28 seconds.
My popcorn took 3 minutes.
I know. And I should add the first minute of that was just basically Jeff Hardy doing this with his T-shirt.
I'm gonna throw. No, I'm gonna throw. Guess what? By doing this, I'm a heel.
Yeah. So for those who might not know, I can't imagine there are many by now.
If you're watching this, you probably know. Yeah. I would hope so. Or
anyway,
you're just really bored.
Jeff Hardy came out to the ring fucked up on drugs or something. He
stumbled up the stairs.
He stumbled down the ramp. He stumbled up the stairs. He was obviously in no condition to be at the show whatsoever.
He did get his face paint on pretty well, though.
I think
I was surprised that he didn't screw that up.
I think they make Kaz do that.
I think Jesse Neal does that.
Yeah.
War veteran Jesse Neal does that.
Anyway, skipping past war veteran Jesse Neal.
Just like TNA does.
Yeah. Bischoff comes out to start the match, and I assume whispers something to Sting, which I assume he's giving Sting his instructions.
I equate this to when Mick Foley fell through the Hell in a Cell cage, and half of management ran out, and basically just bought time for Foley to regain consciousness.
Yeah.
Bischoff was essentially doing this to make sure Sting knew the plan,
and I imagine to get the show a little bit closer to the scheduled end time.
They did purchase 3 hours of airtime. They probably want to get somewhere near that.
Yeah.
Not go over it like WCW did, but I'm sure TNA will do that sometime in the future too.
Yeah. So they do their thing. And they lock up, and Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop. Hardy tries to no-sell it.
Then tries to kick out.
And then Sting proceeds to cover him, and Hardy desperately tries to kick out.
And can't.
And Sting doesn't let him.
Last time I checked, wrestling's fake. So watching somebody legitimately get pinned for 3 seconds was pretty amazing. Funny.
Yeah. And...
What happened to me?
Oh, man.
And they actually showed in the Botchamania video that Sting actually had scratches on his neck from Hardy.
From Hardy.
Like a hamster being squashed.
And in the video I saw, you could see Hardy go over to the ropes and lean out like he's talking to Bischoff. What the hell just happened?
Were you aware that I was going to get pinned that quickly? Because I was here for a whole match. I show up here to wrestle.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I'm done.
I don't think you could put that kind of sentence together in a state of mind. I should add the referee was Brian Hebner. The referee was Brian Hebner. So that's just funny.
Friends in the family.
It would only be better if they happened to be in Canada when this happened. But unfortunately...
Canada would have rioted. They would have said, fuck you, we want our money back. Canadian fans have a sense of entitlement. They're not going to sit through that crap.
No. It's okay because... in a gesture of conciliation, Dixie Carter is offering TNA fans a free 6 months, right?
Free 6 months of the TNA Vault, so you can watch. You can go back to when TNA held good matches on a semi-regular basis and watch those.
And it took her about 4 or 5 days to issue that apology, at least, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And and that, of course, was quickly followed by a Hulk Hogan tsunami joke on Impact. So,
because nothing's funnier than Japan jokes right now.
I'm not sure if it was a joke. I think it was actually more like he incorporated the word the Hulkamaniacs or a tsunami or something. But it's still in bad taste.
Well, TNA is an earthquake.
Yeah, no, TNA is a cesspit that needs an earthquake to come and destroy it. And I mean, come on. Can you at least send somebody else out to? Do we have to be done?
We're not
send
done.
Somebody else out to wrestle instead of someone who's on drugs.